Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be explaining how I got into every university I applied to. When I was first looking, I knew I didn't find too many videos like this, so hopefully I can answer some of your questions and give you guys some good advice. So let's get into it. Just a side note, I'm going to have different sections of this video, so I will link the timestamps in the description below. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the universities and the programs I applied to. So I applied to 5 universities and 6 programs. The 5 universities I applied to were University of Toronto, St. George Campus, Ryerson, York, Western, and McMaster. In terms of the program, I think for almost all the schools, you just have to pick a general field, and then by the end of your first year you can specialize. So the field I chose was social science, but at Ryerson it's a little different, so you do choose your specific major going in. And at Ryerson I applied to 2 programs, criminology and politics and governance. A lot of people ask, how many schools should I apply to? And honestly, there's no magic number. It all depends on you as the person, the school, the programs, your grades, things like that. I would just suggest that you should have at least 1 or 2 safety schools that you know you will most likely get into, so that you're not worried and stressed about getting into those really hard schools if you apply to any. So the second thing I'm going to talk about is grades. I know a lot of people may not want to talk about that or reveal their own information, but I don't mind. Hopefully it will help you guys if you had any questions about that or just to hear about my experience. So most universities will look at something called your top 6, which are basically your 6 best marks from grade 12. Obviously with the pandemic and everything this year, lots of kids are doing online school. The school system in Toronto I know is different now. We're doing quadmesters, so that changed the way I guess they looked at marks. So I think this year they actually looked at our grade 11 marks as well, a little bit more than maybe they usually would have. So for my grade 11 marks, they ranged from high 80s to mid 90s. I was pretty happy with those. I worked hard, I studied hard. Grade 11 was probably the hardest year of high school, I would say. So those grades definitely met the requirements for the programs that I applied to. For my grade 12 marks, this year all of my marks have been above a 90. I worked really hard for those. So again, those obviously met the requirements for the programs that I applied to. So the third thing I'm going to be talking about is extracurriculars. So I just want to start off by saying you should definitely get this done before grade 12. You don't want to be stressed and rushing. So for my school, you need 40 hours to graduate. That is a requirement. And for me personally, I started volunteering since grade 9. I volunteered at hospitals, zoos, churches, libraries, things like that. And I've done quite a lot of that. I have just under 400 hours. You definitely do not need to do that many, but I found for me personally that helped when I wanted to apply to certain scholarships, and volunteer hours were one of the things that they were looking for. So if that's something that interests you, I would definitely say have more. So the last thing I'm going to be talking to you guys about is applications and deadlines. I made a whole other video specific to Canadian universities and how to go through that, so I will link that here up above. But in terms of dates and things, you just want to make sure that you're on top of that all the time. You don't want to miss anything, because if you miss a date, then it won't matter about your grades or your extracurriculars because the applications would have closed. So you want to make sure that you write all that stuff down somewhere, put sticky notes, remember it so that you don't forget and that you're on time with everything. And being organized will just help you to be less stressed and will help you definitely calm down during this super busy time. The last thing I will say is please do not stress. I know that's easier said than done, but honestly, the process was not as bad as I thought it would be, and I'm really happy about that. I hope you guys have a really good, easy process too, so best of luck. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. If you have any more questions, comment them down below and I will definitely answer. I hope this was super helpful, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!